All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a look at one of the oldest books of wisdom out there, Ecclesiastes, and see how its brutal honesty applies to the world of modern trading. I know, it sounds like a weird mashup, right? But stick with me because it asks the one question that every single successful trader eventually has to confront. And that question is simply this: what is it all for? You know, the funny thing is, this question usually doesn't pop up when you're in a drawdown. No, it hits you right after you nail that big goal you've been chasing, you get the funded account, you hit your profit target, and then poof, the satisfaction is gone almost before you can even feel it. The author of Ecclesiastes, this figure called the preacher, has a special word for this feeling: vanity. But we have to be super clear on the definition here. The original Hebrew word, hebel, doesn't mean something is worthless or stupid. It means vapor or mist. You know, like your breath on a cold morning? It's real. You can see it for a second. But then it's just gone. It's not meaningless. It's just temporary, insubstantial. And that idea of hebel, of vapor, leads us right to our first big point: how to spot the vapor trail in our own trading lives, and why chasing targets alone can feel so empty. This right here, this really lays out the whole battle, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the vapor, the stuff we post online, your account balance, those P&L screenshots, that killer monthly profit. It all looks great, but it's fleeting. And on the other side, that's the stuff that actually lasts: the character you forge in the fire, the wisdom you gain from your losses, and the community you build around you. And this is the cycle we all get trapped in. You hit a milestone, and for a split second, it feels amazing. But that feeling is pure mist. It evaporates, and what's left behind? Just the pressure of the next goal. The satisfaction is temporary, almost by design. So if the outcome is just vapor, where do we find anything solid? Well, this is where Ecclesiastes offers this incredible paradigm shift. It tells us to move our focus away from the outcome and onto the process. Think about this for a second. The preacher tried everything, and I mean everything: insane wealth, pleasure, giant building projects, you name it. And after all of that, he comes to this shockingly simple conclusion: the real lasting joy isn't in the trophy at the end, it's in finding genuine enjoyment in the daily work, the toil itself. And this isn't just some vague philosophical idea. For us as traders, this is where the gold is. It's in the deep satisfaction of a perfectly prepared trading session, the clean feeling of a trade executed exactly to plan, the integrity of an honest journal entry, even on a red day. These things don't just evaporate. They build something solid inside of you. Okay, so that focus on process, that's our internal anchor. But what about the market itself? Ecclesiastes gives us a framework for that too, a way to understand the rhythms of the market that it calls the calendar of heaven. We've all heard this verse, right? It's everywhere. But have you ever actually thought about it as a trading plan? What it's really saying is that just like in farming, there are right and wrong times for certain actions in the markets. There are seasons. And this just makes it so practical. A time to plant? For us, that's patiently building into a position. A time to give up? That's not being a loser. That's the seasonal discipline of hitting your stop loss without hesitation. A time to keep silence? That's watching the market, letting the setup come to you instead of forcing it. And here's the crucial warning: trying to harvest during planting season, forcing profits when the market is just ranging or setting up, that leads to destruction. A smart trader doesn't fight the season. A smart trader learns to recognize it and act accordingly. So we've covered our internal process and how we react to external seasons. Now let's talk about the assets that truly last. And spoiler alert, they have nothing to do with your account balance. They're about people. It's about building what Ecclesiastes calls the threefold cord. You know that classic image of the lone wolf trader, locked away, figuring it all out on their own? This verse is a direct assault on that entire myth. The preacher is blunt: woe to him who is alone when he falls. And let's be honest, in trading, everybody falls. Isolation isn't a strength, it's a massive vulnerability. So what's the antidote? The threefold cord, which, as the book says, is not easily broken. For a trader today, this is so clear. Strand 1 is your accountability partner, the person who knows your rules as well as you do. Strand 2 is your mentor, someone who's been where you are and can see your blind spots. And Strand 3 is your community, the people who get it and who are there for you during those inevitable drawdowns. Beyond those relationships, there's one more asset that endures: your reputation. I love this imagery. A good name is better than precious ointment. It's something valuable that lingers long after you're gone. And this slide just makes that distinction crystal clear. Your account balance, your hot market calls, your P&L screenshots, that's the scent of the ointment. It's nice, but it fades. A good name, though, one that's built on honest treating, genuinely helping your community, and principled behavior when you're under pressure, that endures. That's your real legacy. So, we've journeyed through the vapor of profit, found the substance in our daily process, learned the wisdom of the market seasons, and felt the strength of community. But where does all this searching ultimately take us? Well, the preacher boils it all down to one final, incredibly powerful resolution. So after wading through all the vanity, after realizing that chasing numbers and accolades is like trying to catch the wind, and after all the experiments with wealth and pleasure and finding that every single achievement is ultimately temporary, the conclusion at the end of this entire journey isn't some complicated new strategy. It's actually radically simple. This is it, the end of the search. The ultimate anchor in a world made of vapor is this: fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Okay, but what on earth does that mean for you, sitting at your desk on a Tuesday morning? Well, it translates into two incredibly practical actions. To fear God becomes this: maintain a deep, reverent humility before a market that is infinitely bigger, older, and more powerful than you will ever be. And to keep the commandments, that becomes a disciplined, unwavering faithfulness to your own well-tested trading rules, your system, your plan. And so that brings the whole thing right back to you. After you strip away all the vapor, all the noise, all the get-rich-quick strategies, what's left? What is the simple, foundational duty that anchors all of your work? What is the purpose that will actually outlast the P&L?